Hello, my name's Kim, and I'm a homeschool mom of four. My kids age in the range from four all the way up to actually 10 this week. We'll have a birthday. And the grades range from preschool all the way up to fourth grade. I've homeschooled from the beginning. It's probably been about 7 years. I had a lot of people this year in particular just because of COVID. Um, Ask me some tips, advice, things that worked for my family. So I've been doing short 5-10 minute videos just to give some short tips on what my family has found helpful the past 7 years of homeschooling. I am no professional. You could find many people on YouTube that have homeschooled a lot longer than I have, and probably with more kids than I have. I only have four. So, with that said, for today's tip, a couple of videos back, I think 2 videos back, I think I've only made 4 videos, so, but 2 videos back, I talked about my homeschool room, and we homeschool in our kitchen, and where I put my books, and I said I put it on a cart thingy, and I didn't have my cart thingy there, and so I wanted to bring this out to show you guys my cart thingy, which is right here. And then I also wanted to show you my folder thingy, which I will explain. As you can see, we are not in my bathroom like in my last video. So instead of being in my bathroom today, it is a beautiful day outside, and I am able to lock the kids outside, and they're outside playing, digging a hole in the backyard. So we're back in my kitchen area. As you can see, over here is my kitchen. My table, you can't see, but it's around this corner. Yeah, over here, around this corner. But, so this is kind of the entryway to my kitchen, and I don't usually keep this cart here, just because it'd be kind of blocking the way of the entry into the kitchen, but it is kept just right over here up against the wall, in my entryway. So that, and it's on wheels, so that's good. This is wheeled. But this is what I'm using this year to hold all of my books and things. I actually am finding this year, I really enjoyed it. My mom actually was going to get rid of it and asked me if I wanted it, and I said yes, please, I would love it. And this is what we're using this year. I really enjoy it. Before this, I actually used, there was a big old antique dresser that was in our entryway, and I would have the drawers filled with some homeschool stuff, and in the top I would put all of our main stuff that we do together, our read alouds, the curriculum books and all that. I would stick that on top. But when my mom offered me this, I thought, oh, this is perfect. I can get rid of that big dresser because, as I mentioned before in other videos, we live in a 1,400 square foot house, so a big dresser in our entryway just makes it look even smaller and feel smaller. So we got rid of that, and it makes the entryway just seem a lot bigger for us. So I'm really thankful for this that my mom, I was able to get from my mom. Another area, I don't remember if I mentioned it in another video, but another area I would keep my books before we had this big dresser that we got rid of was in my kitchen cabinets there. If you could see over here, I actually cleaned out 2 areas right there, those 2. I cleaned out as much stuff as I could. It's a good excuse to minimalize on what you really need and what you really cook with. And I cleaned that all out, and I would actually store some of my books up there, hidden away in those kitchen cabinets. So all I had to do is open it and pull it down. It was really easy. It was right there in the kitchen where we homeschool. The drawbacks were that my kids are older now, so they have a hard time reaching still until they get a lot older. My third, fourth grader can't really reach unless they climb up on top of the cabinet to get their stuff. So this has been very helpful for me. I've really enjoyed it. As you can see here, I have on top, I keep on top this craft bucket I got from Walmart a few years back. They have little compartments here, as you can see, of crayons and stuff. I just keep this on top so that whenever my kids need crayons, colored pencils, markers, whatever, pencils, we keep them all in there. So here's my pencils. I have markers. I have colored pencils, I have crayons, I have another bag of markers. So this sits on top. It's easy for them to grab and go. Underneath it is a art kit for when I do art. It's kind of like a fancy art kit and makes me feel like a fancy artsy teacher. Yeah, I don't use that very often actually because I'm not an artsy person with drawing and stuff. But over here, as you can see, these are all of what we use quite a lot during the week that we do together. So health we do together, art we do together. The spelling book I use Spelling Power, and it has spelling lists all the way from like first grade all the way to like high school. And I don't use it exactly as the spelling book suggests to use it. I use it the way I want to use it with my kids. I just use their lists basically, and it works great for us. So spelling we don't do together, but they use the same book, so I keep that here. And then a lot of the history books and stuff. I also have the curriculum books up here and my teacher's manual, homeschool instruction, answer books, stuff for math, so that I have them right on the top. I can grab them and I don't have to go looking through tubs or bins or anything. And then over here in my cart thingy, I have all the craft stuff. So I have construction paper here, folders. There's one that's glue, lots of glue sticks, scissors, staplers, clay, paints, paintbrushes, non-hardening clay, rulers, lots of drawers here that I do all the craft stuff that we would use. And then over here, there are actually 5 large, if you could see, the compartment's bigger than these ones. And I have a name for each of my kid on here. The 5th one down below just stores more art stuff. But in their own tub, they have their math workbooks. We have our math workbooks. We have essentials in writing. They do differently, separately. Language arts and English from the roots up. It's Latin and Greek root words, and they keep them all in here. The English from the roots up one book we share. I just bought an extra one just because the older one was kind of in bad shape. But with the old one, I decided to go ahead and keep because it wasn't completely torn apart, and they have their own one for right now until my third child kind of goes in with them and starts writing down Greek and root words and Latin words too. So like I said, that all is their individual stuff. It's very nice for when they can grab what they need, and they can just grab what they need and start. Every week I made myself some sheets. I'll kind of go over this in another video eventually on what I do every week. But I basically plan every week what each child is to do. They each get their own thing. They each get and what I expect for them to be done. So there's Monday, here's everything we need to do. And I have stuff like together stuff, handwriting, Latin stuff they can do on their own. And then when they're done, I check it and I highlight it, check it off, or let them do that, either way. But they can look in advance, my 4th and 3rd grader at least, and see, okay, I need to do this. I could get this done so that I can play, 15 minutes of Kindle later today. And they know what's expected of them. So I keep that on top of all of my stuff here. And like I said, that's my cart thingy. I might have talked a lot of pretty fast there, but if you have any questions, just comment below. You could probably find these. I'm guessing I've seen these in Walmart, Target, there's Amazon, anywhere. Just look up probably a multi-craft cart and this will come up. And then over here is what I have. It hangs on the wall, and it is a folder system, filing system that I use. And what I do with this is that when my kids are right here, this is just a paper, when they need reminding of cursive and stuff, they just pull that from there. But what I do with this is that each of them gets a file folder, with their name on it, and I try to color code them so that one's, red, one's blue, one's purple, and so on with their name. And when they are done with handwriting, language lessons for today, whatever, English, they're copying whatever I had them do, I check it, and then when they're done, I say, put it in your folder, and they stick it in their folder, and they just, stick it to the back. And then anything we do together as a family, like a lot of the things like this, is something we did a week ago, for health. And this was like a lot of gluing and obviously cutting and coloring and all that, when we were learning stuff. And it was fun, but not everybody wanted to do it all together. So we do this kind of stuff as a family just because it takes a while and everybody does it as a family, coloring, who cuts, who tapes, and all that. So when we do stuff like this as a family, or we fill out like a map or like a history map of where, Mark Antony and Augustus Caesar, went in and took over another area or whatever, and we had to draw a map in their route or something. We did that as a family together. And when we do stuff like that together, I just have them file the stuff in a folder for all of us, stuff we did together in the back for this year. So at the end of the year, I can go through, and we could go through each folder, each of the kids go through and they look, okay, what do we want to save? What do we not really want to save in our folders for the coming year? I live in Indiana. For most of you probably know that. And so there is really no laws for homeschooling except for keeping attendance. So we don't have to keep things. So you might want to look up in your state if you need to keep certain things for like a portfolio or something, to show that you did work and everything. But here we don't need to. So I let the kids choose what do we want to save and all of that at the end of the year. And then we go to a store and we bind it all. Or if you're lucky to have a binder machine, you can spiral bind it. And so we bind all of this for this year, and then we just stick it away for later if we ever want to look back on, because it's always fun to look back on what you did when you were younger, right? I love looking back. I'll show my kids like a preschool book I made when I was in school, and they love looking at that. And even now when I get out my oldest two things that they did when they were in kindergarten, they'll be like, I remember that. And they could see the difference between when they first started handwriting to what they are doing now. So they're good reminders, but you also don't want to keep everything because, I don't know how long you're planning on homeschooling, but we're planning on homeschooling long term. So that's a lot of stuff to keep. So we like to go through and pick and choose what we want. Even bigger items that we can't, physically keep or anything, you could take a picture and you could stick it in there like in a folder or in that book with it. So it's really, it's kind of neat. Neat thing to do. But anyways, that's my organized kind of homeschool stuff. Anything for last year that we used, or from the following year that we used homeschool wise, that we are not using this year, but I know we will be coming back around to it. I stick in a big tub, big $6 tub I get from Walmart, and I stick it in. I put tape on it, label what year it is, and I stick it up in our attic so it's out of the way because I know I won't need anything in there. And I can reuse it, come back to it and reuse it later. Trying to think of anything else organizational wise that we do, but this is, like I said, my organizational little homeschool area kind of. This is usually around the corner, but this is my cart thingy and my folder thingy today I wanted to share you. So with that is all for today, or I guess this week for you guys. If you guys had any questions, or had a question for me personally, or had a question about homeschooling, or had a question about a tip or something even that you found helpful, go ahead and leave a comment below, especially if you have a question, because pretty soon here I'll run out of ideas on what I'm going to talk about homeschool wise, tip wise. So if you have a question, feel free to leave that below so I can get an idea of what you guys are wanting to know, like a tip or advice on. I have, like I said, a few in the future that I have video wise that I have ideas for, like how to distract, toddlers or kids while you're working with another kid, or um, and my, writing my schedule out for the week and what I do, what works for us. But if you want to leave a comment below on future video ideas, I would be very grateful. With that, I will see you next week.